shifting, the vibration rising, inner wisdom listening, no more disguising the truth within, the power we hold, stories untold, waiting to unfold. Spiritual essence shining bright, activating power day and night. Empowered women standing tall, breaking down barriers, giving our all. Higher self-connection, the ultimate key. Living more fulfilling life, wild and free. Inner peace cultivated, focus and clarity. This is the journey, this is our story. Guided by Regal Cameron, spiritual activation queen, illuminating our way.
I am Coach Regal Cameron, your spiritual activation coach. I empower women to live a life of possibilities through health and wellness, mind, body, and spirit by giving them the tools and exercises they need in order for them to create the life that they want to live. Now let's get into today's topic. So today's subject is going to be recognizing your inner voice. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because there was a very long time, the early part of my life, where I did not recognize my inner voice. I didn't know what it sounded like. I didn't really understand that I had an inner voice. And it was really awakening when I finally did hear my inner voice. So I'm going to tell you guys a short story. This was back in the summer of 1998. I graduated in 88. But 1998, I was working at a network marketing company where it's called Dynamic Essentials, where we sold vitamin kits for people who wanted to sell, make extra money on the side. They could sell vitamin kits, and they were all different sizes to make money. But that's neither here nor there. But what I did, I was a customer service agent, right, working in the call center. So every day for lunch, I would go to either Subway or, whatever was close to the job. But I would always go out and get my lunch if I didn't bring my lunch. So this particular day that I decided I was going to go out, I believe I went to Subway. And what I would always do during my lunch break is I would literally write in my journal. And in my journal was where I would write my most intimate thoughts and feelings and just elaborate on the different things that I've gone through in my life. And that was how I got my emotions out. I would put them on paper. So this particular day, I decided, instead of me writing in my journal, that I would just read what I wrote. Okay? And in doing so, I found out that I was really a negative Nancy. And I didn't like what I saw on the page. I saw someone who was broken. I saw someone who was hurt. I saw someone who was living in a state of unforgiveness. I saw someone who was really just emotionally broken. And in finding myself in that space, I did not like who I saw. And what I did, that for me, let me go back, I was about to jump ahead. But for me in that moment, I realized that in my brokenness, I was seeing myself for the first time. And seeing myself for the first time spiritually. Meaning that I had not really looked at myself spiritually. I hadn't really looked at what my personal spirit was feeling. I just would, I went to church. I was girl, what they used to call a holy roller. Speaking in tongues, just doing my thing, praising God, doing everything that you would do I was a church girl, and I was just living my life for Christ and just really doing the things that were expected of me, not necessarily doing the things that, I'm trying to make sure I word this right, doing what I needed to do for self. and learning about self. I was just on fire for God, which there's nothing wrong with being on fire for God. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, But I didn't have a relationship with myself. I had a relationship with God. I would pray, speak in tongues. I would pray in the morning, pray at night before I go to bed. I did my Bible study, all of that. But I had not taken the time to study me. So in seeing myself on the pages and seeing this broken, hurt woman that was living in a state of unforgiveness, that really was living in a space of being a people pleaser, making sure everybody else was okay but myself. My spiritual awakening started that day. And I said to myself, I do not want to be the negative Nancy in the room. I do not want to see that negative woman on the page anymore. I don't want to see the broken woman. I don't want to see the woman living in unforgiveness. I don't want to see the woman who has given everything to everybody and nothing to herself. And that day, I chose me. I chose Regal. I chose to find my spiritual self. I chose to change the words on the paper that I had written. I heard my voice. I heard my own spiritual voice. Now I hear God too. But I think that day when I looked, not that I think, I know that on that day that I decided to read my journal, God was allowing me to see who I was. And in seeing who I was able to make a decision on if I wanted to stay the person that was on that piece of paper, in that book, in that journal that was really thick of me writing down my thoughts and my feelings. That if I want to stay that person or if I wanted to change who the person was on that book, in that book. That was my spiritual awakening, the beginning of it. So what I did after I read everything and just kind of gathered myself, because I sat there in that restaurant, Subway, really having a ocean of emotions because I was seeing myself for the first time. And that day I vowed that I would start the transformation of myself. And I took several steps on what I would do, how I would do it. But on that day, I said, no, I'm not going to be this person anymore. I'm not going to be this negative Nancy. I'm not going to be this people pleaser doing everything for everybody else and not doing anything for myself. Now, I want you guys to understand that this did not happen overnight. This did not happen overnight. This took years of personal development. But on that day, I took the first steps to changing who I saw on that paper. So if you're interested in really seeing who you are, really wanting to know who you are spiritually, ready for your personal spiritual awakening, then I want you to come with me on this journey. I'm going to go on a journey of 30 days of different subjects around spiritual activation. Today is recognizing your inner voice. And in doing so, I'm going to give you a short story about me, because that's all I know is me. But I'm going to tell you what different instances and things that happened in my life and how I handled them. Now, for today, what I want you guys to do is after you've listened to this, we're getting towards the end of the story. I have some questions for you that might prick that little question in your mind about spiritual activation. And the first question that I want you to ask yourself is, am I open to receiving guidance from my inner voice? Because on that day, I heard my inner voice through the pages of my journal. I heard my inner voice through the pain that I saw on the paper. I heard my inner voice through the brokenness of my writings. I heard my inner voice when God allowed me and directed me spiritually to read my journal versus writing in it that day. That day was the first day of the rest of my life in me building to the person that I am today. So I would like for you, if you're willing and you're able and you're ready, to ask yourself the question, am I open to receiving guidance from my inner voice? Am I living in alignment with my values and my true self? Now, this one might take a little bit more of asking, because when you get into your new awareness of your own personal spirit and you're wanting to build a relationship with self, you start to learn about your values. You start to learn about your true self. So this question, the second question, may be something that you want to hold off on, but I want you to keep that question in your head, okay? So that's going to be it for the questions today. I'm just going to give you those two to ponder on and to really think about and ask yourself, truly, am I open to receiving guidance from my inner voice? And am I living in alignment with my values and my true self? Your inner voice is a whisper of the divine within you. It is a quiet knowing that guides you when the world around you is loud and confusing. Take time to listen. It holds the wisdom you seek. Listen to your inner voice. Listen to your inner wisdom. I leave you with that. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at I Am Coach Regal. Thank you for watching today's video. Remember, activate your spirit so you can transform your life. I am your spiritual activation coach, Regal Cameron. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Feel the energy shifting, the vibration rising, inner wisdom listening, no more disguising the truth within, the power we hold, stories untold, waiting to unfold. Spiritual essence shining bright, activate, empower day and night. Empowered women standing tall, breaking down barriers, giving our all. Higher self-connection, the ultimate key. Living more fulfilling life, wild and free. In a peace cultivated, focus and clarity. This is the journey, this is our story. Guided by Regal Cameron, the spiritual activation queen, illuminating our way. Shifting, the vibration rising, inner wisdom listening, no more disguising the truth within, the power we hold, stories untold, waiting to unfold. Spiritual Spiritual essence shining bright, activating power day and night, empowering women standing tall, breaking down barriers, giving our all. Higher self-connection, the ultimate key, living a fulfilling life, wild and free, inner peace, cultivated focus and clarity. This is the journey, this is our story, guided by Regal, the spiritual activation.